Ever stop to think about the instruction manual that actually built you? Well, today we're diving deep into that manual, the blueprint for pretty much every living thing on Earth, DNA.
No, really, just think about it for a sec. What is it that decides your hair color, your height, the very fact that you have 2 arms and not, 8?
Turns out, the answer is tucked away inside almost every single cell in your body. It's written in this incredible microscopic language. And that language, that instruction manual, well, that's DNA.
All right, so if we want to understand how this manual works, we've got to start with the basics, right? We need to see how it's built. Let's deconstruct the blueprint itself.
Okay, its full name is Deoxyribonucleic Acid. Yeah, I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, which is why we're just going to call it DNA. This is the genetic stuff, and it's kept safe in the nucleus of our cells. It's the master copy of all those vital instructions.
I'm sure you've seen this shape before, right? DNA has this world-famous structure, a twisted ladder that we call the double helix. And believe me, that elegant design isn't just for looks. It is the key to absolutely everything DNA does.
So, how do you build this incredible ladder? Well, it's made from just one type of repeating building block called a nucleotide. And every single one of these has the same 3 parts: a phosphate, a sugar, and then something called a nitrogenous base. You can think of the base as the part that carries the actual information.
Let's picture it like this. The nucleotides are the bricks. The sugar and phosphate parts, they link up to form the strong sides of the ladder, what we call the backbone. And that third part, the base, that's what forms the rungs. But it's how those rungs connect that holds the entire secret code of life.
And this brings us to the language of the blueprint. This is where it gets really cool. The entire instruction manual for all of life is written in a surprisingly simple 4-letter code.
Here they are. This is the entire alphabet of life. Adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. We just call them A, G, C, and T for short. That's it. Every single instruction that makes you, you, is just some unique combination of these 4 letters. It's kind of wild when you think about it.
Now this is the really crucial part. These letters, they don't just pair up randomly. Nope, there's a golden rule. Adenine, or A, always pairs with thymine, T, and guanine, G, always pairs with cytosine, C. A with T, G with C. That's the whole secret. This simple, strict pairing is how DNA can store and copy information so perfectly time and time again.
Okay, so we've got the structure down. We know what DNA is made of, and we know about its 4-letter code. But what does this thing actually do? Well, let's look at DNA's 3 main jobs.
First up, and probably the one you've heard of most, is that DNA has to be a library.
Its number 1 job is simply to store all of your genetic information. That specific sequence of A's, T's, C's, and G's is the code that determines your physical traits. We're talking everything from your eye color to your height to your blood type. It's all written right there in that code, like a massive biological library.
But a library is pretty useless if nobody ever reads the books. So DNA's second big job is all about putting that information to work.
See, it's one thing to store information, but it's another thing entirely to actually use it. So job number 2 is providing the instructions to build proteins. And proteins are basically the workers and the building materials of your body. They are absolutely essential for everything, from growing muscle to repairing a cut. DNA holds all the recipes.
And finally, for life to continue, that blueprint has to be passed on. This brings us to its 3rd and maybe its most incredible job.
The blueprint has to be able to copy itself. So before a cell divides, the DNA inside makes a perfect replica. This is super important because it makes sure that every new cell gets a complete, perfect set of instructions. It's also how genetic information gets passed down from parents to their children, generation after generation.
So, you see, it all comes back to that elegant structure. That double helix shape is the whole reason DNA can do its 3 big jobs: to store information, to copy it, and to transmit it, making it absolutely essential for all life as we know it.
So, as we wrap up, here's a thought to leave you with. The entire complex blueprint for every living thing on this planet is written in just 4 simple letters. The big question for our future is, what happens when we get good enough at reading that language that we can start to rewrite the book of life ourselves?